We are live. Tali, how are you? So today we are having a conversation with, the title is called A Conversation with Arturo Watts. Arturo also has a nickname called Tully. I call him Tully the Tubby. So, Tully Tubby. So how are you?
Good. It's so good to see you again, Ching. We had a great time canvassing together in Iowa in January. So many great memories together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And actually also, Ching, that was the most viewed video on my YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Yes, the video of us canvassing.
Yeah.
I think it's still on the old Shaving with Tully YouTube channel. I took most of the videos down, but
oh yeah,
it's still up. Yeah.
So you were with us one afternoon, and then you were like live streaming. So that clip is in my film. I'm making a Yangon film, so that clip is you were sitting in the passenger seat, and I was the one who was driving. You were like, okay, here, this is the car full of people. We're going to knock on doors in Iowa.
Oh, that clip's gonna be in the documentary?
Yes.
I'm famous.
You're famous. You're already famous. So yes. So I wanted to introduce to our audience, for lots of youngins, they know who Tully is, who Arturo is, but for other people, they may not know. So I'm gonna read a short biography of Tully. So Arturo Watts is a former Udall scholar, organizer, and entrepreneur. After graduating Summa Cum Laude with a bachelor's of degrees in economics, he moved to China to learn Mandarin and started an education company focused on popularize cognitive psychology research and developing better language learning curriculums. Mm-hmm. As a passion project, he also began a 3-year vegan bodybuilding experiment to raise awareness for the outsized environmental impact of raising global meat consumption. He presented the results of the experiment in a lecture at ChinaFIT 2019 in Guangzhou. Arturo Watts is passionate about building greater appetite for math-based politics, focused on problems and solutions by the numbers in America.
Yes.
Bravissimo. Bravissimo. So, talk about you went to China. You can speak Mandarin very well. 你好吗？
我很好。吃饭了吗？
没吃饭，没饭吃。在美国没有饭吃。He just asked me like, "Have you eaten dinner?" That's how Chinese people are greeting each other. The first thing is say, "Have you eaten?" You know.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, I have no food to eat."
Oh no.
No, I'm just like working. I'm just nibbling on things. So anyway, tell me a little bit about just reading your biography. You are so young and you seem like such a versatile. Not only politically, you are so sharp, aware, and then you're also environmentally aware, and also body-wise, you're so fit and you are vegan and all of these things. So tell me a little bit about like how did this whole where is Arturo and Tully come from, like your upbringing?
Okay, sure. So I wasn't religious growing up. I was not religious growing up, but I knew about religion. And I was living in the United States. I heard people talk about religion. And I heard people say, if you don't believe in God, you'll go to hell. And I remember as a 7-year-old staying up at night and I was like, but what if I try my best to help people? Will God still send me to hell even if I don't believe? And so I remember from a very young age, I wanted to look for the best way that I could have a positive impact. And when you want to find the best way, you have to look at the numbers. You have to look at the numbers. So from the beginning, I was very serious about looking at different problems based on the numbers, because sometimes we pay attention to problems that are not as important, or it's maybe culturally important, but it actually doesn't impact many people. And sometimes there are very big problems that we completely ignore. But if you looked at the numbers, you'll discover this is a huge problem, one of the biggest problems in the world. For example, heart disease in the United States. Nobody's passionate about heart disease, but heart disease is the leading killer in the United States every year for the last 101 years since the Spanish flu. And right now, everybody's worried about the coronavirus, and it's killing 1,000 people per day. Heart disease kills more people per day, and the World Health Organization says that it's 80% preventable. So this is an example. If you look at the numbers, it's a huge, huge problem. It really reduces people's quality of life. And there's something we can do about it because it's preventable, right? But we don't ignore, we don't pay attention to it because we're not doing the math. We're not looking at the numbers. So I started a nonprofit called the Math Movement. I really supported Andrew Yang because he said, I'm a numbers guy, and I'm a numbers guy too. And I think that we all need to be numbers people. We need to look at the numbers because the big problems can't hide when you look at the numbers. So I want to help promote a math-based politics, which means focused on problems and solutions by the numbers. I think that's what we need in America. So I'm trying to help push it.
Yeah. So where are you right now?
So right now, thank you for asking, I'm in Georgia. And where in Georgia? I'm in Columbus, Georgia. The reason I'm here, you can see here, is we're here to support John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, who are running for Senate. And if they win, then we will be able to get something done in the Biden administration. If they don't win, then the Republicans and Mitch McConnell will stop everything that Democrats try to do, and we won't have progress for 4 years. It will be very ugly. It will be gridlock. So I organized a house, and you can see behind me, those are the stockings for everybody who's staying with us. We also have some, multicultural holiday decorations. We're still getting a menorah. Yeah. For anybody who's Jewish. We want it to be welcoming for everybody. Right. But everybody who is here is knocking doors. I'm here right now because I'm having this conversation with you, but we are all knocking doors every day, as many as we can, and registering voters so that hopefully we can win.
Yeah. So your focus in Georgia is focused on make sure people already they are already voters, like Democrat, and they are qualified to vote, but a lot of them, they don't bother to go vote, right? So you want to ask them, they're not converting Republican, becoming Democrat.
Yeah, it's more so go TV, get out the vote. It's more so registering people who already agree with you. Yeah. Because actually, something that I think is very important to remember is that these voter registration forms, it looks very official, it looks very professional, it's from the state of Georgia. But actually what this is really for is to reduce how many people vote. This is to make it more difficult to vote in the United States. In other countries, you have automatic voter registration. Wow. That's how it should be. Everybody should automatically, if you are a citizen of the United States, you should be able to go and vote, bring your ID to prove who you are, and vote. It should be simple because we should want everybody to vote. But in the United States, we have one party, the Republican Party, which doesn't want people to vote. If more people vote, they lose.
Mm.
So they try to make it harder for people to vote.
Mm.
So we have to win with the system that we have,
Mm-hmm.
which means right now the focus is on registering voters.
Mm. Mm. Well, so it seems like along the way, I don't know. I don't know enough about the voting system. I think I see lots of sort of inefficiency and or out of date kind of a method. For instance, the what do you call college electorate, right? System.
Electoral college, yeah.
Electoral college is a strange thing to me. It's not like voting based on popular voters. It has to go based on each state, how many numbers you gain the numbers. And what if the censors are not current, then you don't have current numbers.
Yeah,
right?
so the census determines how many electoral votes your state has.
Yeah.
And sometimes states grow and sometimes they shrink.
Yeah.
So it has to be updated.
Yeah. So one of these days, I don't know, hopefully, can we just vote in a popular vote?
You know, I really think that the Electoral College is a complex question. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really sure where I stand on it yet. Mm-hmm. I think that I can understand both sides. Mm-hmm. And if I really want to be thoughtful about it, and I think about the impact that the Electoral College has, I think it makes it so that for 90% of the country, your vote doesn't really count. That's what it's doing functionally. Because if you're from a red state or a blue state, you're not going to turn the election. It's really just 5 to 10 states where it's called a battleground state. And I tweeted about this a few weeks ago and said, remember, every time you hear somebody talk about a battleground state, you should ask yourself, why isn't every state a battleground state?
Yeah.
And I think that we should think about that. And I understand the people who say that we should keep the Electoral College and it's important, but usually they say it's important because it gives everybody a voice. And I say, if you're a Democrat in Alabama, you have no voice. If you're a Republican in Alabama, you have no voice. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Because no matter what, you're not going to change the outcome.
Yeah.
Alabama's going to be red. And 85-90% of the country is going to be red or going to be blue.
Yeah.
So your individual vote doesn't count that much because of the Electoral College. So maybe it's time to start choosing the president by popular vote. But that's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, since you've been in Georgia for a few days now. What is the scene like? Like, tell us. If say I'm thinking of coming, I'm not sure if I should come or not. Tell me, convince me.
Okay.
What's the setting like?
Yeah, sure. So I want you to imagine yourself on January 6th, after they have counted the votes for the special elections in Georgia. And imagine that Perdue and Loeffler, the Republican candidates, won by a total of 100 votes. And imagine thinking to yourself, I could have changed it. I could have registered 150 voters, and I could have changed history in America. It's really going to be a very close election, and this is the most important election. You could make the argument that this is the most important election in maybe the history of our country, probably the most important Senate election, because we've got somebody in an ambulance agrees with me. They're saying it's very important. They're saying, woo, woo. Do you hear the ambulance in the background, the siren? That's how you tell people that something is important, with a siren. So they came on the show to agree with me.
Yeah. So what is going to be typical? Do you physically go outside? You work with a minivan, or how does that go?
Yeah,
Like
so
your typical day.
Usually we're using apps like Minivan, or there's another app called Reach. And you knock on doors, you have conversations with people. Of course, you wear masks. And you sanitize your hands frequently. So it's absolutely possible to do this safely, but also participate in democracy, which is very important.
Yeah.
And we have many people who joined us at the Math Mansion who have never canvassed before. And it's a new experience for them. And that makes me really happy, because I think they will learn and they will have a good time, and they'll teach other people in the future. So we can have a ripple effect here. So yeah, day to day. Oh, I think some guests are just coming in the door right now. So you'll get to meet some of our mathletes, but I better put my mask on. Is this Darian and Max? Nope. You guys want to say hi? Yeah. I'm doing an interview.
Hello.
Meet some of the residents.
Yeah, please.
How are you doing? Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi. Hi, how are you? Oh my God. Hi, how are you?
Hi. This is Daniel.
I'm Max.
Oh, this is Max. I was dropping. I'm Julian. Hi, Julian is a logo head.
Hi.
You put your head back there. See if it.
She's a filmmaker.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a filmmaker.
So everybody, I have to tell you, everybody at this house, has a superpower, right?
Yeah.
And Julian's superpower. Will you come back here?
Superpower.
Julian, why do you stand there? Julian is a chef. He's a chef.
Oh.
So he cooks amazingly delicious food.
Wow.
And we've been joking. This is like a house of X-Men.
Oh, really?
Everybody has a different power.
Yeah.
Aaron is a photographer. Why don't you say hi, Aaron?
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Aaron. How are you?
Everybody likes to stand by the logo. You know what? I think I want to try it. Okay. Can we
that
do
logo
that?
is so big. I can't even make it smaller. So yeah, I can't even move it. Yeah, nice meeting you guys. Great work. Great work. Yeah.
She's making a Yang Gang documentary.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of an interview, so talk to her like a little bit later, okay?
Yeah. Tell them my YouTube channel.
I will let them know.
Yeah.
Juhl Media.
Yeah. By the way, we have some people here. SOJU80Y. Hello. Hi, Nick. Hi, Dennis from Trump for Yen. Trump for Yen podcast. Dennis is here. Dennis was joking with you. Actually, Dennis says.
What did he say?
Dennis said, Juhl intimidating Tully's live streaming voice. What? Intimidating. Imitating. Oh, I don't know. What is your live stream voice?
I'm not sure what my normal live stream voice is.
You're really serious though. You were really serious.
With a mask.
Yeah. Yeah. But your voice on your live stream is very so Tully, speaking of your live stream, can we play just excerpts of your live stream?
Yeah, sure, if you like.
Yeah.
From my YouTube channel or what?
Yeah, so Tully used to have a name. It's called Shaving with Tully. And then now become Math MVMT. Yeah.
Math HQ.
Yeah. And how did you become so broadcast kind of ready actor like / good presentation? I mean, did you always naturally so good in front of camera?
No, actually. So what I did have some practice with is acting. I started stage acting from a very young age. So I was comfortable speaking in front of people, but I was not comfortable speaking in front of cameras.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, it was very, very difficult. It took me many months to create my YouTube channel because I was so nervous
Oh,
And little by little, I got more comfortable with it.
which one should I play? Sorry. Should I play We Are Back?
Let's go.
Oh, which one? You tell me.
Go to the next page.
Next page. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to choose a good one
This
for
one?
you.
This one?
Sure. You could choose that one. That would be fun.
Okay. All right. Let's skip the ad. Here we go.
This was after the campaign ended.
Oh.
Good evening, everybody. So I want to first start off this video. I need your attention for a second. Listen to me. By saying that there are many members of the Yang Gang who are going to be struggling really hard right now. There could conceivably easily be several hundred people out there who might be suicidal. The Yang Gang has, let's just say this, those who have mental illnesses of some kind or another, including myself, are overrepresented relative to the general population. A big part of that, and a big part of why people are so passionate about supporting Andrew Yang, is because he talks about mental illness. And so there's going to be a lot of people tonight who are really having a tough time, who cried their eyes out. There's also going to be a lot of people who are going to be very worried, who were hanging on to the hope of that $1,000 a month, and now are going to have to start to wonder, what the hell am I going to do now? How am I going to continue to scrape by? So I want to ask you for a second to think about those people and be there for each other.
Wow, that's so heavy. That's so samba. Yeah, but it's good. It's very good. Audio.
Sorry. People were passionate about Andrew Yang, and so that night, it was a really sad night for a lot of people. Yeah. We really put our hearts and our souls into that campaign.
Right.
I ran hundreds of miles through the early states. I had a flag that said YouTube Andrew Yang.
Right.
There were a lot of supporters who did crazy things in support of the campaign, people who donated as much money as they could. So yeah, it was a really devastating night. But time goes on and you keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am finding the one you were just saying. There's people. There's people. You were running with the flag, right? And in Iowa, the cold weather of Iowa, as well as New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Both of them. Yeah. And
there was one night, Ching,
yeah,
when my flag became like a sheet of ice.
Oh my God.
When I had to put it back in my car,
yeah,
I couldn't put it back in because it was frozen solid, because it was freezing rain in Iowa. Wow. And I was running like I had to, that night I remember my pace was 13 minutes per mile.
Wow.
Super slow, because I was scared of slipping and breaking my head. Everything was frozen with ice. I have a video of it somewhere on my channel, but that was some of the worst weather I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a video. I have so many videos. You led us to a protest in front of Drake University at the 7th debate, which Andrew Yang did not make.
Well,
remember?
You say he didn't make it. He should have.
Yeah, he did not make it at the 7th.
That's why we were protesting, because Andrew Yang was better than 1/3 of the debate stage. He was polling higher nationally than Tom Steyer and Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
And they got to debate. Amy Klobuchar raised a bunch of money that night, if I remember correctly. Andrew Yang ended up, it really hurt his campaign. And the only reason he wasn't there is because funny business at the DNC. The DNC said, you know what we'll do? To qualify for this debate, you have to have a high early state poll. Yeah. And Amy Klobuchar had a high poll, early state poll, because she was a neighbor to Iowa. She's from the state next to Iowa. Tom Steyer had a high level of support in South Carolina because he spent $100 million to get to buy that support. Okay, Andrew Yang had grassroots support around the country and much more support than both of those other candidates. Yeah, he was a much stronger candidate, but he wasn't on the debate stage. Yeah, and it was because of nonsense criteria from the DNC. Right. And it's intentional. They're intentionally trying to design the criteria so some people are on stage, the people they want, and the people they don't want are off stage. Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. So now while I'm still looking for this one particular kids, changing times. And that one yeah. Funny. Okay, let me find it. Sorry, it's just too many. So I have I have made about over 120 short documentaries, short videos or docs. I consider film is like a video is like you just sort of quickly put together is a video. A film, you put some time, you editing it and you get rid of the junk or you add some music or something, it's called film. So I made about 100 some films. Now this one I want to show you. Okay, this is also made to my doc. This is called chasing. Oh, what's now? It's called What's Now. Yeah, so many names. Okay. Wait. Oh, this is the same one.
Not this one. Sorry.
That's okay.
Not this one.
You'll find it. You're going to play The Times Are Changing?
Yeah, I want to play the This one. We were in the cold. Look. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Let him in. We want Yang. Let him in.
You can't sum it up in 10 seconds. That's why he needs to be on the debate stage. He's going to make America think harder. He's got over 100 policies on his website, yang2020.com.
All right, so we're going to sing. Here, so group Times Are Changing by another one right here by Bob Dylan. And guys, remember, there's a reason why our founding fathers said, united we stand, divided we fall.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving.
That's the flag.
That's the flag right there.
The times they are changing.
Awesome.
Humanity first.
Anyway, so that's really fun. And then we had meetings afterwards, and we went to the bar, and so that was a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you.
Wait.
Yeah.
Do you still have it open, Ching?
Huh?
Do you still have it open?
Yeah.
Can you go back to the 9th minute in that interview? Because this is the point. I want everybody, if you just see that video and you think we're outside in the cold and singing, then you think, what are they doing? Are they crazy? No. The point is, if you have some kind of spectacle, then you can get media attention, and then you can amplify your message to a bigger audience. So it's actually not a silly thing to do. It's a very strategic thing to do. And that night we had 8 or 9 different news interviews with different news media because
Yeah.
we were out there. And
Yeah.
we sang that song because we wanted to have a positive protest.
Right.
We didn't want to just sound like we were complaining.
Right.
We're thinking about the future. So I would love it if you could show.
Do we have it? Do we have it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think a little after
Yeah, hold on.
this,
Hold on. Yeah. So
10 seconds or something after.
after? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
maybe-
yeah. This guy.
Yeah,
This guy.
yeah.
Oh no, what is this guy?
Andrew, Yang. When I say vote for, you say Yang. Vote for. Yang. Vote for. Yang. When I say power, you say point. Power. Point. Power. Point. When I say Andrew, you say Yang. Andrew. Yang. Andrew.
Where's the
Yang.
interview?
When I say you,
Huh?
you say Yang. YouTube. Yang. YouTube. Yang.
Where's the interview, Ching?
Later, after that. After that.
Okay.
Where do we want him? Are we gonna work for it? Everywhere! Everywhere! All around the country. Let's do this again.
Hold the people.
Oh, maybe before.
Interview.
Oh, here. Sorry. Before.
Yang is polling higher
Right here.
nationally than 1/3 of the debate stage.
Yeah,
He's
right.
polling almost 1 full point higher than Amy Klobuchar and Tom Steyer. The reason he's not on the stage is because
Channel
it's a
7.
gerrymandered debate. They drew the target around Amy Klobuchar's numbers and excluded Andrew Yang, and then they refused to poll the people to allow Andrew Yang the opportunity to demonstrate his true strength. He has the fastest growing campaign, both in terms of donations, fundraising, as well as polling numbers. Fastest growing campaign of any Democrat. He's going to keep on growing. He's going to keep. Yang, yang, yang!
Oh, yay. That was a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, we had a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, back a few steps back is how did you become involved with Andrew Yang movement?
Sure. So at the time, I didn't really mention this at the beginning, but my focus in early 2019 was vegan advocacy and just education about why reducing our meat consumption has a huge positive impact on many, many huge problems, global problems. And again, this relates to the math. People don't think that the meat that you eat is very important, but actually, because we now have about 8 billion humans on the earth, and people are making more money in Africa, in Asia, they have more money to buy meat. People everywhere around the world are eating more meat. And that takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of water. It also takes a lot of land. So they're clearing area in the Amazon rainforest, which can hold a lot of CO2. So it's a really big problem for climate change. It's actually one of the top 2 or 3 leading causes of climate change, the meat that we eat. It's one of the top drivers of human hunger and of water scarcity, as well as many diseases like heart disease, for example. So that was my focus at the time. But what I was more passionate about meat consumption was math, the numbers. And then this guy, Andrew Yang, I'm listening to an interview, and the interviewer says, I'm here with a man named Andrew Yang. He's running for president. He's wearing a hat that says math on it. And it stands for Make America Think Harder.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I have some guests who may have just arrived.
Okay.
I know this is a really kooky interview because I'm running around, but
Yeah.
let me just say hi to them. If
Yeah,
they
say
are.
hi. Yeah, no, they deserve a hi
It might be
From-
somebody else though.
from our audience too. These people are just came back from
It was just FedEx.
canvassing. Huh?
It was just FedEx.
Oh.
False alarm.
Hi, FedEx.
Yeah.
FedEx
So
postcard.
anyway, when I heard that Andrew Yang was really making math a central focus of his campaign, I thought to myself, this is the movement we need. We need U.S. politics to be more numbers focused, because I was really frustrated that sometimes the media talks about these issues that are really nonsense. They don't really affect many people, and it's just emotional. It's emotional dopamine manipulation for your brain. But it's not actually important. I think that if you want to fix problems, you have to pay attention to the biggest problems first. And to do that, you need to look at the numbers. Andrew Yang is the only person with that message. So I decided I would support him with every bit of energy that I had.
Yeah. You consider yourself right now, because I am making credits to Yang Gan in the end of my film. I just give the name and then the state. So are you a New Hampshire person or Texas person?
You could say I'm a New Hampshire person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you grew up in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Well, I lived in Chile for 4 years.
Chile.
In South America.
You speak Spanish?
Sí, claro que sí.
Oh my God! Wow, awesome.
Yeah. My dad's from Chile, and my mom's from Missouri, and I grew up in New Hampshire. I don't know how that makes sense, but it does.
Oh, yeah. And then you did your undergraduate in this country.
Yes. I feel my education was in China. But I went to college in the United States. Yeah. In Connecticut, and after graduating, I moved to China for 5 years, and I felt like I learned more there than I did in college. Even though I learned a lot in college.
Did you speak Chinese when you get there, or you already speak Chinese before you get there?
No. In fact, I'll tell you a story, Ching. When I got there, I was a marathon runner. Okay. So in fact, the day after I graduated from college, I think I ran a full marathon. So I was very thin, and I ran almost every day. And I got lost in a city in China, and I did not have my phone, and I could not speak Chinese. And I ran 12 miles. I ran 12 miles. Later, I looked at a map and I figured out where I ran.
Oh,
and I was lost. I couldn't figure out how to get home.
Which state? What city?
I was in Zhongshan City, which is across from Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
And so what I eventually realized is I said, wait, I think my key has the name of my apartment building on it. And I pulled out my key and I said, yes. And I talked to some security guards. I said, Zai Nali, where is this? And they helped point me to it. So I finally got home. But
that's funny.
So I did not speak any, I spoke some survival Chinese when I got there. I studied really hard for about 8 months, and then I got there in September. By around March, I was having fluent conversations, and then it just continued to improve over 4 years living there.
Wow, that's wonderful. So that was, may I ask the year? What year you were there?
2014.
Oh, okay.
I graduated from college in 2014, went straight to China.
Wow. Is it so? Tell us some like unforgettable stories.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you another story about actually this was also my first week there, but this was really burned into my memory. The first morning, so I arrived in the evening, went to sleep. The first morning afterwards, I didn't have any food in my apartment, so I had to go out and buy some breakfast. So I get out, I go downstairs, and right outside the door, there's a crosswalk. So I start going across the crosswalk, and I'm just about to reach the other side of the road, and I hear boom, and then I hear ooh, a dog got hit by a car, like right behind me.
Oh my God.
It scared the hell out of me. But the other thing that it showed me, and I'll never forget it, is when I tell you this story, you can imagine it, but you can't experience it.
Right.
When you are right in front of a person or an animal that is suffering, when it's right in front of your face and you hear its whimpering and it's crying, the effect that it has on you, it's physical, it's physiological. Your blood pressure goes way up, and you feel it in a way that you can never forget. And I think what that showed me is we can't imagine sometimes how serious problems are. And when we hear stories or when we hear statistics, we can't really imagine what is really happening. And I think that you have to develop the moral imagination to know that when you see a statistic about suffering, when you hear a statistic about, something like 235,000 people have died from COVID, you have to imagine the coffins. You have to imagine 235,000 funerals. And even still, you can't even come close to imagining the suffering. So I guess the point that I'm making is it showed me that like the math, the statistics, we don't get very emotional about numbers, but I think we need to learn to. And that's one more thing that I hope that the math movement can help to change the way we think. Math also stands for Make America Think Harder. And I think that we need to think harder about problems and solutions, because when we don't solve problems that we could solve, we're letting horrible suffering, unimaginable suffering to continue. And you forget that if you spend too much time away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about organizing. You are organizer, and how important is organizing movement? How important is all of us? Should actually. I mean, not everybody is an organizer,
right?
But I think people being able to organize things, usually the leaders or people work also hard, right? People are planners, leaders. And so tell us, in this time, in all the time, actually, we all need organizers. So first of all, where is your skill organizing come from? Is it natural?
Thank you for asking that question. No, it's not natural. It's learned. It's learned. I might have a little bit of like natural inclination in this area, maybe a little bit of natural talent, but most of what I know about organizing, I learned. And I like to say that organizing is a craft. It's just like carpentry, making tables. If you want to know how to make tables, you have to study carpentry. And if you want to know how to make social change, you should study organizing, because organizing is the craft for creating social change. And the most influential people in history, Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, they were organizers of one sort or another. Okay.
Obama.
They were, yes. Why did Obama win? Okay. And people forget this. In 2007, Obama had something called Camp Obama, which was an organizing curriculum, a class for people to learn how to get involved. And there was a huge grassroots movement in support of Obama, and Obama won huge majorities. It was amazing in the Electoral College. Like, I think I can't remember how many votes he got, but it was a landslide victory. But when you really look at U.S. history, you see that organizers have been behind the most important progress in our country's history. Both, the civil rights movement, women's suffrage, which we forget was only 100 years ago that women got the vote in this country. These things happen because of organizing. And then also the creation of the middle class in the US happened because people had disposable income. They had money to spend. Why did that happen? Because of labor organizing, unions. So people really had to organize in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s. They had to organize for their lives, right? That's what the civil rights movement was about. Like they needed livelihoods. They needed jobs, and they needed to not be terrorized. Okay. And then after the 1970s, it vanished. People stopped organizing. And that was a terrible problem because anytime there's been major policy change, there was organizing behind it that supported it. And there are famous photos of LBJ on the phone with Martin Luther King Jr. And LBJ is credited with huge, like the Voting Rights Act of 1965, a number of massive reforms in the 1960s. And he would be on the phone with MLK and say, hey, I need more pressure. Okay. So the way to think of this is organizers give politicians political capital that they can spend. And you can spend that on policy. So I think in the Yang Gang, a lot of people in the Yang Gang, a lot of people in our movement, they want universal basic income. And we don't realize that you have to have a well-organized movement that gives politicians the capital that they can spend to make major change. So it's really at the root of all social change. It really is. If you really look closely at the history, progress comes from organizing, and it's a dying art. And at the math movement, our logo or our slogan is strength in numbers, and organizing is about bringing people together so that you can leverage your strength in numbers. So we want to teach people how to organize. But I don't know if I guess I didn't really answer your question. How did I learn to organize? Would you like me to touch on that, or is there something else you want to ask about?
Yeah, I was wondering how you just by doing it.
Yeah, sure. So when I was 18 years old, I was really close with this chemistry teacher, and this chemistry teacher of mine was like a mentor to me. And I asked him before going away to college, I said, hey, I'm about to leave for college. It's a really important 4-year experience. Do you have any advice for me? He said, when you get there, find something you're interested in and jump in with 2 feet. Get completely involved. And for me, that thing was organizing. I started organizing, and I was one of 6 regional organizers chosen by an organization that was called REC. The Responsible Endowments Coalition. It was involved in the divestment movement. And so I started organizing. I started a student group and built that student group up. And one of the things that I'm proud of is the year after I graduated, my student group was selected as the student group of the year of over 150 student groups at my college. And the reason I'm proud is because I wasn't involved. It was the year after I graduated. So it got that award from people that I had trained and taught how to organize. And that's the beautiful thing about organizing. With organizing, you should be teaching other people along the way so that they can go have an impact that outlives you and that goes beyond you. And that student group, my student group, it's still active. They still meet every week at my college 10 years after I created it. So, and you know, of course, when I was living in China, I couldn't be directly involved with political organizing unless I want to get myself killed. But you know, I was doing a lot of things that are in a similar vein. For example, I was going around and giving talks, lectures on the importance of reducing meat consumption. And that involves persuasion. Real persuasion has to come from trying to understand who you're talking to and where they are. And I think when most people talk, they talk about why they believe what they believe, and they're not focused on the person who's listening. That's one of the things that you learn as an organizer is being others focused. And being, it's called having an outward orientation. Now on social media, on Twitter, for example, if you look at Twitter and the posts on the Yang Gang, from Yang Gang, people with blue hats on Twitter, it's inward orientation. We're all talking to each other. Okay. We're saying things that we all like and retweet, but it's only like 500 people who are like, yes, I love this. And it's the same people. And when you have outward orientation, you're focusing on bringing your message to people outside of your movement. You're trying to convince people or persuade people who don't already share your way of thinking. That's one of the fundamental skills or instincts that you learn as an organizer. And you have to develop the ability to talk to people based on what they believe, not what you believe.
Yeah. So for the limited time, I was born in Shanghai. I don't know, I still consider myself very much Chinese, even if I have already, lived in this country for more than 30 years. So for limited time, excuse me, dear. For a limited time, you were in China. Tell me a little bit about, did you have any experience of like you feel the system, not being able to freely say things or express things, or other stuff? Like, do you feel shock at all? Or you kind of just like, well, now I'm here, I'm just sort of, I just live with this, just learn how to live?
So this is, I'm glad you asked about this, because this is one of the reasons that I came back to the United States. I missed my free speech. There were many times that I wanted to say something on social media, and I didn't, because there's certain things you're not supposed to talk about. And I think that actually has a really negative effect on society, not only because you need free speech to talk about social problems and solutions, but also when you don't have free speech, what's left to talk about? Food, the weather, maybe some roast. And so I felt, because I'm really passionate about a number of issues, and I like to talk about social issues. I think when you live in a country where that's not your responsibility or your role as a citizen, you're not supposed to. I think that it has a really terrible but under-discussed effect on society, because to me, I think it's like not as interesting. There's so many really interesting conversations that you can't have. And also it discourages people from really thinking about social problems. I think people become less thoughtful, or maybe they're more focused on their career, buying a house, buying a car, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think living in China really gave me an appreciation for the importance of free speech and the ability to think freely, both aloud and privately.
Right. So now, shall we? I want to talk about your website. Shall we show our audience?
Yeah, I would love to
Okay.
show people the Math Movement website. Right now, you'll see, if you go to mathmovement.org, and that's MVMT.
Here we go.
You'll see that the landing page, it's all about Georgia. The focus is on Georgia. We've got other things that we're going to focus on in the future. But right now, all of our attention is on Georgia.
Okay.
But if you click About on the top there, you'll get an idea of what our mission is. We have a 3-part mission. Number one is we want to try to help spur a new enlightenment. And what that means is, math stands for make America think harder. New Enlightenment is trying to go back to the Enlightenment values that are the foundation of democracy, which means science, reason, and we say a new enlightenment because I think there's something that we need to add to it. And I already talked about it in this conversation with you. It's called moral imagination. I think a new enlightenment needs to contain some new ideas about morality that have to do with looking at the numbers. And then that takes us to the second thing that we're about, math-based politics. That means politics focused on problems and solutions by the numbers. And third, where we believe in building strength in numbers. That's what you do with the information, right? The first two are about ideas. The third one is about action. And I really believe that we have to revitalize organizing in our country if we're going to have major social change. And I also think that in my movement within the Yang Gang and within those who support universal basic income, you need to have organizing in order to promote these things. And there's my ugly mug right there.
That's a nice shot. I like it.
Thank you.
What is? I can't really see your tattoo on your arm. That's a lot of tattoo. What is it? It's a whole city.
So it's unfinished right now, but it's I'm lucky that I've lived in very beautiful places, and I grew up in New Hampshire. So this is the White Mountains. But also New Hampshire is the home of one of the most famous English language poets, somebody by the name of Robert Frost. And he has a very famous poem called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And when it's finished, the tattoo will have a line of the poem that will say, and miles to go before I sleep. Yeah.
Wow. So the tattoo is how what is the percentage you have achieved right now?
About 50%. Still have to get.
Oh my goodness.
While you're at this page, I would really love to read this.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we read this together? I want to show this to everybody. Okay.
Please.
The problem. We're in a dark age, but with iPhones and atom bombs. While it's true we are seeing progress in a narrow technological sense, humanity is actually backsliding in the ways that matter most. By the numbers, we are more distracted than ever, glued to our phones for 3 to 7 hours every day. We are on track to have more plastic than fish in the Earth's oceans by the year 2050. We've created an obesogenic society where adults are now more than twice as likely to become overweight than to maintain a healthy body weight. We are raising or burning the world's forests at a rate of 12 football fields per minute. We're on track to drive over 1 million species to extinction in the coming decades, and teen depression and mental illness has increased by more than 50% from 2009 to 2017. So if you look at the numbers, this is a dark age. We are going backwards as a species. Okay, and just because you have more pixels on your iPhone doesn't compensate for all the ways in which we're destroying the earth and making ourselves miserable and unhealthy. Okay, sorry, let me continue reading. We list these facts not out of a desire to dwell on the negative and make you feel depressed. We list them because they are facts and they call into question the story of progress we see in Pepsi commercials and show instead an incredibly powerful species, human species, that can put its extraordinary creativity and energy into creating a much better future. And that is a message of hope. So the solution, progress sometimes must start with dark truths. And these numbers show us that we are accelerating in the wrong direction. Collectively, our species is moving backwards, even as many of us strive to do good. And that is the definition of a dark age. But the last dark age lasted over 1,000 years until it was brought to an end by a shift in consciousness, which historians call the Enlightenment. This time, we can't wait. We can't afford to wait 1,000 years to turn things around. So it may sound grandiose, but the math movement is calling for a second enlightenment to nip this dark age in the bud and move humanity forward. Because only light can drive out darkness, and only an enlightenment can end a dark age. And then below this, we start to outline some of the new Enlightenment principles. I don't know how much time you got left. We can talk about that all day.
Yeah.
You know, my wildest dreams, I would hope
Yeah.
that new enlightenment becomes a household term, just like the Green New Deal.
Yeah.
I hope that the math movement can be like the Sunrise Movement and help really spur a movement for math-based politics focused on problems and solutions by the numbers. And I hope we can build that movement over the course of the next 4 years, the next 8 years, the next 12 years and beyond. But also, I think that we need to change the way we think and become more thoughtful. And that's what New Enlightenment is about.
Right. So in specific, it's also beautifully written and beautifully articulated. Great words. In specific, how can people be involved with your movement? Like, what do you do with people?
Absolutely. We organize. We work on growing a movement. Like I said, organizing is a craft, just like carpentry. If you want to build tables, learn carpentry. If you want to learn how to build a movement, you have to learn organizing. You don't have to be MLK Jr. You don't have to be some incredible person. Anybody can learn how to be an organizer. And then you can organize the types of things that I'm organizing. I have this house now of, it's going to be 9 people who are out canvassing every day. And who knows, we might just be the difference that swings the election and makes it so that America can actually gets policy across the finish line in the next 4 years. But one thing that I know for sure, if I can get 10 people to start teaching other people about organizing, if we can get more organizers doing this, if there was 10 of these houses, that would really have a good chance of making a difference. So I think that I would love to have people involved, and we're growing all the time. Our organization is growing all the time. Anybody can get involved. To do so, go to our website, mathmovement.org. Right now, let me figure out where the best place to go is.
How can they find you?
Yeah, just go to mathmovement.org and hit join math class. Oh, maybe that link's dead right now.
I see there's a in the bottom. You can write your name and your email and then say join.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I haven't been asked this question in a while. Go to mathmovement.org, click on organizing.
Okay.
Organizing, and then put your name in on the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Name and email.
Yeah.
Math movement, organizing.
Yeah.
That's the place to go.
Yep. Cool. Great. So now I saw something on Twitter this morning. Some people are upset with that Andrew Yang has not been offered a concrete position by the Biden administration. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel surprised. And I think what I want to tell people is don't get mad, get organized. The reality is in the Yang Gang, we think that we can get change by convincing people. We think we can convince our way to change people's minds. That's not what politics is about. Politics is about power. So we need to put ourselves in a position where we're too good to be ignored, as the old Steve Martin quote goes. You have to get yourself in a position where it would be politically unfeasible for Joe Biden to not put Andrew Yang on his cabinet. And to do that, you have to organize and build a bigger movement. You have to get people involved in real life, working on campaigns around the country that are going to get stuff done now and grow our movement. That's one thing that I talk about all the time. You have to grow as you go. You can't just grow for growth's sake. There's no such thing. A movement is like a shark. It has to be moving forward in order to breathe, right? And you have to breathe in order to grow, right? So if you're not moving forward, if you're not doing stuff, if you're not working on let's say ballot initiative, some kind of local and attainable initiative, then you're not going to grow your movement. So we have to set our sights on what we can do and grow as we go, grow our movement as we push for change in our states, in our cities, and so forth. But I think it really starts with people developing an understanding of what organizing is, that it can be learned, and with people deciding this is worth learning. I want to learn it. And if you want to learn it, again, go to my website and go to organizing and put your name in. You will be the first to know once our organizing curriculum has been released.
So you teach people, like you have like a workshop?
Yes. So I actually, my nonprofit, the Math Movement, won a $5,000 contract with Humanity Forward, Andrew Yang's organization, to develop a video curriculum about organizing. So that is currently in process. The curriculum is largely written, but turning it into a video is going to take time. But I think people can expect it in January.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, personal question. I am a half-time, like part-time vegetarian. So what would it take for me to become a vegan? Like, how would you tell me, a person, like, I don't really know enough vegan. I just know vegan people don't eat eggs or milk, but I have to drink coffee with some milk.
Yeah, I understand. So what I like to say is really just focus on the numbers, and by the numbers, what matters is reducing your consumption. If you reduce your consumption 90%, that's so much better than doing zero. Again, this is one of the biggest problems in the world, but unfortunately, people are stuck on thinking about veganism as a binary proposition: 0 or 1. Black or white, vegan or meat lovers pizza. Like, why does it have to be one or the other? You can come part of the way over here, and then if you want some milk in your coffee, then put some milk in your coffee. And the really great thing about it, though, is if you try to reduce your meat consumption. And I don't believe in pushing my diet on anybody, but I believe in making myself available. So if you want to learn how to reduce your meat consumption, hit me up. Hit me up on social media, Twitter @Toli_math. My DMs are open. But I also, I've done trainings and taught people in the past about how you can eat a nourishing vegan diet if that's the choice that you want to make. But the wonderful thing is, if you challenge yourself to do a vegan diet for, let's say, 30 days, you will try foods that you've never eaten before, and you will broaden your horizons. And I think that's good, because it's more variety, and variety is the spice of life. And don't think because you're this person or that person that it's not for you. My good friend Fred the Felon went vegan for 90 days, I think. In his truck. And he was cooking delicious food in his truck, sending me photos. So you have no excuse. If you think that this is something to do, you can do it. It's not so hard.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
So I forgot to ask you if you would like me to play a word, like a game. It's called Rapid Fire.
Let's do it.
Sure. All right. So
I gotta go in 5 minutes. So let's do it rapidly.
So thank you guys for joining us. Thank our audience, and thank you, Tully, for being with me today. And please, subscribe Juhl Media YouTube channel, and please also subscribe Tully's channel, which is called, say it again, Math
Movement HQ.
Yeah. So all right, so I'll just play a few things, and we're done. 5 minutes. Let's see what happened if you win lottery tomorrow. What are you gonna do?
If I win the lottery tomorrow?
20 million.
I'll invest all of that into my nonprofit. I want to grow my nonprofit. Especially, I hope that Math Movement can create media as well as like organizing like training centers around the country.
I know you're a vegan. Do you eat spicy food?
Yeah. 我喜欢吃辣，好好吃。
What is it? How do you say Donald Trump is an asshole in Chinese?
Oh, I don't think I want to say that. I think,
Sorry, because you know what happened is in my film.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
我觉得特朗普的政策不太好。I think that Donald Trump's policies aren't very good. That's my beef with him.
It's funny because you know, the reason I ask you is you know, what's his name? Fred was asking me that question, so I actually gave him an answer. Actually, it's not I think 100% accurate. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. But okay, so what's your favorite color?
I'm embarrassed to admit it sometimes because it's not very manly.
What,
but
you
I
like pink?
purple. No, I like purple. I think purple is the color of royalty.
Yeah, purple is nice.
Yeah.
Now, you speak English, Spanish, Chinese. If you have a chance, what other language you want to speak or want to learn?
我學過少少廣東話。
廣東話。
我識講少少。
Oh, Cantonese.
But I'd like to learn French at some point, and I intend to. So my business that I started in China was a language learning business, and I think that we kind of got the formula down for how to learn a language efficiently. And so I'd like to think one of my superpowers is that I can learn a language very, very quickly if I set my mind to it, because I know how to study to learn a language.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Now, in 10 years, what do you see yourself?
Organizing.
So, what is the ideal city? I know you've been moving around. What is an ideal city for you to live in a year or two?
Somewhere fairly warm.
Warm?
Fairly warm. The most important thing in life is people. Who are you around? Who are you around? So, where you live is less important. But yeah, I think I like to be close to nature too. So a city that's close to nature, or a town. Yeah.
What's your favorite alcohol beverage?
Either champagne or like a craft beer of some kind, like a local brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Which book did you read the last?
The Entrepreneurial State by Mariana Mazzucato. Highly recommend. It's very technical, but if anything, just look up Mariana Mazzucato, The Economist. I think she's brilliant.
你会不会要小孩？
在未来，现在不能说。如果我认识一个合适的女生，我们可以考虑一下。但是我现在没有想清楚，我现在没太关心这个问题。She asked me, "Do you want children in the future?" I said, "Well, we'll see if I meet the right girl. Cross that bridge when we get to it."
Yeah. Good luck. Well, thank you so much, Teletubby. So great to have you, and I cannot, wait to see your organization grow and see your success. And I wanted to share my dog with you when I'm done. So
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. I want everybody else who's watching to stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't to Ching's channel. And keep in mind, she's the only person who's allowed to call me Teletubby. Okay, nobody else can. All right, and when you say it, it's very heartwarming, but nobody else can do that.
Oh,
Who came up
thank
with
you.
that nickname?
Thank you so much. Thank you, audience. Yes. All right. You stay safe. Okay.
Will do. Absolutely. Much
Everybody-
love, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye. Everybody stay safe. Bye.